guys! How's everybody doing today? My name is Tara, this is Sheldon, and you're watching Halloween. I wanted to say Halloweird. Horrorween Day 6. This is our second anthology movie, All Hallows Eve 2. And it's from 2015. Yes, 2015. I had to look down, I was like, I have my notes here. For the anthologies, I'm always going to have, utmost of notes because I have to keep all the segments straight, especially with this one.
Yep.
Because there are
8
and a wraparound. 8 segments. 2 of them are very short. They're just a few minutes long, and the wraparound is kind of nothing. Mm-hmm. So yeah. But anyway, All Hallows Eve 2 is written and directed. Okay. Bear with me. Written and directed by Elias Benavides, Andre Borg, and Brian Norton, starring Andrea Manier, Helen Rogers, and Tyler Russell. IMDb gives it a 4.8. The tomato meter, there was nothing. And it has an audience score of 16%. So, I'm sure we'll be giving it, well, I already know. We give it a lot more than that. Anyway. So,
usually that's the case.
Yeah. You know, critics versus horror fans watching a movie, there's a difference. So our wraparound this time, there is a man in a pumpkin mask stalking a girl, and leaves a VHS on her doorstep. Now, I found the wraparound of this one didn't make as much sense as the first one. The first one, he was trick-or-treating, somebody slipped the VHS in there, easily done. This one, the girl looks out her window, sees this creepy guy in a pumpkin mask. And when I say pumpkin mask, this part was cool. It's not a mask that's a pumpkin. It looks as if he took a pumpkin, a real pumpkin.
And he
cut out a skull shape from the pumpkin, side of a pumpkin, and tied it to his face. So it's literally a skull mask made out of a pumpkin, which I thought was neat.
It was pretty neat, though.
Yes. And that added the Halloween flavor to the wraparound. She picks up the VHS, looks down, she's in an apartment building, so he leaves it on her doorstep, in front of her apartment door, rings the doorbell, she picks it up, looks down, this man's standing there with a pumpkin mask on and a knife in his hand. I get that it's Halloween, but if there was somebody standing at the bottom of my stairwell that just left a VHS on my door with a knife in his hand, I think I'd still have to call somebody.
Yeah.
Or at least mention to the person you're on the phone with this entire time, oh, this guy in a mask dropped this VHS on my step. Mention to them that they had a knife, too. A very large kitchen knife. That's stupidity.
Yes.
Even more so is that she doesn't question it. At least in the first one, the babysitter questions, I'm not putting that on. That could be anything. It's an unmarked VHS that some guy dropped in a kid's... That could be, snuff films or, really fucked up porn that you're trying to get kids. There are some weird-ass people. It do end up being snuff films, technically. But, No, she's just I'm just gonna watch it. Just gonna watch it.
She puts it on.
And this little dig, I get that it's a horror movie made by horror fans, but the line that they give her is a little clunky, I gotta say. Where it's she's on the phone with her friend, and it's you have a VHS player? She's like, yeah. You have to have a VHS player, or something like that. It's Texas Chainsaw looks so much better on VHS than on Blu-ray. You can't watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Blu-ray. It looks too fake. You have to watch it. It's scarier if you watch it on VHS. Which, true, fair. But it's a little clunky to insert in there. Be yeah, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, we're horror fans. It's true.
It is.
But it's a clunky way of putting it in there. But, yeah, we get it. That was just me being nitpicky. But anyway, the wraparound really doesn't go anywhere with this one. In the first one, while the segments were going on, they would cut back to them watching it. In the middle of the segment.
Yes.
And it actually felt like you were sat on the couch watching this VHS tape with this Sarah character, this babysitter. In this one, you barely cut back to it. You don't cut back to it after the segment's half the time. When the segment's over, you get static, and you get a flash of the man in the pumpkin mask, which startles you every time for some reason, or startles me every time. Just because it's a creepy visual. but you don't really go back in between segments much. Like, not much happens.
No.
So, nah. These segments are named. I love it when they name segments.
Yeah, it's not like segment 1, segment 2. Like they actually
I like
have
it when
names.
I like it when they name, because then it feels like you're watching little movies.
Mm-hmm.
The first one's called Jack Attack, and it's fun. We get our babysitter. We always get a babysitter. There's always something with a babysitter. The first one, there was a wraparound. This one, it's the first segment. A babysitter who looks very much like she should be in Halloween.
Yeah.
The Rob Zombie Halloween, particularly.
Yeah.
She looks like Annie, doesn't she?
Oh,
with
okay,
with the bangs
Mm-hmm.
and the thing wrapped around her head, the headband. She looks just like Annie. Poor Annie. She has this kid trick-or-treating, and they have a pumpkin, and they're going to carve the pumpkin. Now, one thing I will say, the kid in this one, much better than the original, than the first one. This kid's adorable.
Yes.
This kid is so cute. He's not annoying at all. He's an adorable little kid.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad for what happens in this one. They have the pumpkin, they're carving the pumpkin, he's talking. I like it when he looks like, can pumpkins feel pain? And it's like, oh. Like, this is the cutest kid ever. And she roasts up the pumpkin seeds, as you do, for a little snackety snack. And they eat the pumpkin seeds. She eats the pumpkin seeds, he eats the pumpkin seeds. The dog eats the pumpkin seeds. And what's everybody's worst fear as a child if you eat the seed of something? I don't know about anybody else, but I was always told if you eat the seed in the watermelon, a watermelon will grow in your belly.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happens? Pumpkins! Whole pumpkin patch.
Mm-hmm.
The kid starts choking on it first.
Yeah.
And this babysitter is on the ball. She knows exactly what to do. She's trying to get him to cough it up. She does the Heimlich. She pats him on the back. She knows that the next thing to do is to do the thing. I forget what it's called.
I forget what it's called too.
Tracheotomy?
Search for trachea.
Trachea something. She's going to cut into the trachea so he can breathe.
Yeah.
So she starts to do this, but his stomach starts to move. She cuts in, and a vine starts coming out. And then she pulls on the vine, and a small pumpkin comes out through the hole.
Mm-hmm.
And then his belly goes boom.
Yep.
And then she starts to feel sick, and her belly go boom. And then you see the doggo, but they don't show that. Bless them. Bless them, they don't show the dog exploding. But yeah, pumpkins grow out of them. I love this segment. This was a lot of fun. This set a really good tone. This was probably the most Halloween of all the segments.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's so good. I like this one. It was really well acted. The kid was great. The puppy was adorable in his little hoodie with a devil tail. The kid's little costume, he comes out as a scarecrow.
Yes.
He's like, I'm supposed to be scary. And I was like, oh no. You are not scary.
No.
You're adorable.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I love this segment. Segment 2 is called The Last Halloween. And it starts out, you get kids trick-or-treating, but something's off. Everything is quiet. They're the only kids on the street.
Yep.
It feels like it might be post-apocalyptic. We don't know what is happening, but these kids are walking the streets trick-or-treating. They're knocking on people's doors. People are giving them stuff like, the lady gave them a can of tuna. It's weird, and the adults seem to be afraid of these children as well. So whatever's happening there. They knock on one guy's door, and I have very, very large writing with exclamation points. It's Julian Richings! I adore him. Most people know him from Supernatural. He plays Death. Anything for Jackson. He's in
Spare Parts.
Spare Parts. He's fantastic in Spare Parts. I love Spare Parts.
At this point,
He's just having the best time.
Exactly.
Playing weird characters. You want to know where I always know him from? And it's so funny. Because it's the most random thing. But a movie that I absolutely love is Urban Legend. Remember Urban Legend?
Yes.
The first one?
Yeah.
He's the janitor. The creepy janitor that's like a red herring. They're going down the stairs and he's just there. He doesn't even have many lines. He's just a creepy janitor.
Okay,
That's where I know him from. I know him from a lot of like TV shows. My shirt's really flowy, so if you see me doing this, It's distracting me. It's... Anyway, I'm okay. I just like Julian Richings. He's fun.
He's especially fond of this because when he peeks his head at the window, he starts talking. Yeah.
Like, you know something's off about this town. You don't really know what's happening. There's a man and his wife. This is the next house we go to. And his wife is sick. And it seems like this is what's going on. Is that it's some kind of plague. Or it might be radiation sickness. She has a big thing on her neck. I don't know. She's coughing all the time. Her little handkerchief is bloody. Like, she's clearly dying. But we are not explained as to what's going on. The kids knock on their door. He doesn't answer. He tells them to fuck off, basically. He's like, no, we don't want you here. Like, where am I to? Ah, I have like 2 pages of notes for this one. This is fantastic. He tries to get the kids to leave, and it seems like they're going to. But his wife's like, well, maybe they need our help. Like, you know what it's like out there and everything. They're children. Turns out they're not children. They're monsters.
Yep. Like,
the one dressed as a ghost is a ghost. And that costume was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the rest of them, okay, the witch is a witch. And, like, what was another one? The devil was, like, a devil.
Yep.
But that ghost was weird. It was, like, this big... I don't know, man. It looked like a sheet ghost, but, like, alive. It was creepy. And there was a skeleton that's actually, like, a Grim Reaper type thing.
Yeah.
They take the wife. She just disappears. And they kill him. And then they're back trick-or-treating, and we zoom out, and the house is now on fire, and we zoom out farther.
There's more.
And the entire city is on fire. So I'm guessing these kids are the plague, or whatever, that are killing. I don't know. I didn't get it, but I liked it. It was weird, and it was really creepy. The kids creeped me the fuck out.
Yep.
Next one's called The Offering. This one's really simple. There's a father and son. They're driving off in the middle of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about preparing an offering to something. We don't know what. We just assume it's not good.
Yeah.
And they talk about how they have to do this every year. And that they have to prepare this like ritual thing and bring it meat as an offering. And they take turns. It's the dad one year and it's the son the next type thing. This is the dad's turn. They get there and he's forgotten the meat. And then he basically tricks the son into doing the offering for him. And then locks the doors. And he is the meat. Yeah. He tricks his son into being the sacrifice. And that would just kind of piss me off because the dad's an asshole. Yep. Like, he has remorse for it. And I know there's probably something to this. We don't know what it is. We never see it. Like, we don't see the creature do it, ever. We just know that it takes the sun, and then the clock turns from midnight to 12:01, and everything's fine, and that's it. So, yeah, that one just pissed me off because of the dad is an asshole for sacrificing. He should have sacrificed himself!
Right?
Let the son live.
Yeah.
Another good one is the next one. Segment 4 is called Descent. Remember this one? This is the elevator one.
Oh, yeah.
This one's fun.
Yeah. It is, actually.
Yes. This girl is going to get her friend. She was supposed to meet her friend out.
Yep. They
were supposed to go out partying. Her friend didn't show up, so she went to her friend's house. Her friend lives in an apartment building. She lets herself in. And it turns out her friend has been murdered. And the killer's still in there. So she hides. She manages to hide from him. But her phone and everything is downstairs because she just left her stuff on the coffee table because it's her friend's house. She's going upstairs. It lingers on the killer's face a lot, and there's a reason for that. We need to know what he looks like. We need to know that she knows what he looks like. Mm-hmm. We also need to know that he doesn't see her. So she's hiding in the closet. Her phone rings downstairs. The killer goes down, sees it, thinks it's weird, but also maybe he assumes it's Missy that he just killed.
Yeah, maybe.
Her phone.
Mm-hmm.
And he leaves. Right? He just leaves. 6 weeks later, the girl's at work, and she gets in an elevator, and a few men get on, and one of them is the killer. And
as soon as she sees the killer,
she freaks.
Yeah.
And the other guy gets off the elevator, so she's alone with the killer in the elevator, and the elevator stops.
Yep.
And she's having a panic attack, as you would. So is my dog. He's possessed. Can you stop, please?
Cujo.
Don't.
That's enough.
Go lie down, buddy.
Go lie down.
Alright. Come here. There's probably a duck in the yard. But anyway. It's okay. He's upset now. So you'll probably hear him there. He's probably going to rip the wig off my head. That's fine. What was I saying? Oh, she's having a panic attack. But he doesn't recognize her. Which we think is because he never seen her. So he wouldn't recognize her.
Exactly.
So she's having a panic attack. He assumes that it's because she's claustrophobic. Fair. And he's trying to comfort her, actually. He's like saying, you know, it's fine. We'll get out of this. It's fine. And he also whistles this tune.
Yes.
This specific tune. And he starts whistling that. And he said he whistles when he's anxious. Or whatever. Like when he's nervous. He'll whistle. Which, fair. Both of them are locked in this elevator. So her phone rings. Now, after 6 weeks, you'd think you'd change your ringtone. I don't know. But her phone rings, and it's
Still
the ringer
ringtone.
from the murder. So he looks over, it's like he recognizes the ringtone, and she's reaching for the phone. She has a pen in her hand, too. She's after getting a pen. Yeah. And he reaches out, and he's, like, reaching for her, you think. She stabs him in the neck with the pen and literally kills him.
Yep.
And then gets out of the elevator to be met by the killer again. It's a security guard, but it's his face.
Yeah.
And then the guy at the front desk has his face. Yeah. It wasn't him. She just is that traumatized that she thought it was him. Cujo, buddy.
Cujo.
Cujo.
Hey.
He's possessed. We're just gonna go with possession. Damn it. There's a child probably playing in the driveway next door, and he's not appreciating this at all. Anyway, I'm trying to ignore him. Yeah, turns out that this guy wasn't the killer at all, and the reason why he reached for her when her phone went off is because the elevator stuck, and he got excited. Oh, you have a cell phone, let's call for help! Yeah. This whole time, she thought he was being creepy and, like, conniving and all this, and he was just trying to help out. He was just a dude. Like, it's so fucked. That was a good one. Next one is Emma's for Masochist. This is the circus one. Oh, there's not much to this. Bill Oberst Jr.'s in it. I love him. Another genre big name. Yeah. This one feels like Devil's Carnival to me. It's only a few minutes long. And these teenage boys show up. One of them's talking about how his dad's a piece of shit. And his dad is a piece of shit. They come in, Bill Oberst Jr. is there, and he's talking about how he has this, it's the masochist, it's like a freak show type thing. And he has this guy, it's like you throw knives at the board type thing, but this one, he's a masochist, he likes pain. So do your worst, you know, buy a ticket, hurt the masochist, hit him with the nail gun, hit him with this. And it turns out this is the kid's dad. Yeah. And the kid fucking tears him to pieces. He hits him in the nuts with like a baseball with
spikes,
nails in it. Yeah. It's really, really brutal. And then when that's all over, you look and it's some other person up there and another kid. So this is just some kind of circus where abused kids go. I'm guessing maybe the kids are dead and this is like their purgatory. This is their type thing. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Hey.
Hey.
Quit it.
Hey.
Quit it.
No.
Now they're fighting. They're being real big pains in the butt today. Yeah, that's all there is to that one. What do we have next? Oh, A Boy's Life. This one kind of isn't much to it. This one is a boy's afraid of the monsters in his room.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad died in the war, by the looks of it. And his mom's trying to get him to face his fears. He faces his fears. They pretend to kill the monsters, like, type thing to make the kid feel better. And then the mom gets sucked under the bed. That's really not much to that one. It's kind of just there. After that one is Mr. Tricker's Treat, which is another really short one. There's a man who has, like, one dude knocked out in his kitchen, another one in a cage. Hey! And he's killing them and using them as lawn ornaments. Halloween decorations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then this girl comes by and is like, oh, your Halloween decorations are always so good. This looks so real and everything. And then he kills her and drags her into the house. So she's going to be a lawn ornament too.
Yeah.
And the last one's called Alexia. And it's in Spanish and I don't speak Spanish. It's Canadia here. We speak French. Well, I don't speak French either because I didn't pay attention in that class. But yeah, we are bilingual here, but it's not Spanish.
No.
It's French. So, but it gives unfriended vibes. They're not paying attention.
No.
It gives unfriended vibes. There's Spanish Facebook. The girlfriend's, the ghost comes out. It's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it that. And the ghost is really scary. But yeah, it's Spanish and I don't speak Spanish and I didn't have subtitles. I don't know if you can get subtitles on Tubi. You probably can.
Probably
be able to watch that one after and actually figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's all Hallows Eve. That's all of them. So we
there
did
was
this.
way more than the first one.
Yes, very much so. We did the same thing again. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
That's enough. That's enough. We did our scores again. Your favorite segment was the first one. Or no.
No.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah,
yes.
the Mr. Tricker's Treats.
Yeah.
It's a very short one, but I feel like the Mr. Tricker is what people here think I am.
Yeah.
It's like, your Halloween decorations are so real. I was like, no, it's not real, dead bodies. We're doing pirates this year. It's gonna be fun.
It is.
Yeah, that one was fun. It's really short, but it is fun. My favorite was the first one with the Jack Attack with the pumpkins. I thought that was great. Very Halloween. Worst segment for you was number 3, which was...
That was...
The Offering.
The Offering. I didn't
That's
like
just because the dad was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was just annoying. Like, why not sacrifice yourself? You're an old man. Let your son live. Like,
Yeah.
you're a cowardly piece of shit.
You don't have much left in life. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like...
The one that I chose for my least favorite was the wraparound because it really didn't go anywhere.
No.
You didn't really cut back to her much at all. And then by the end of it, he just kills her. So, same thing happens. The exact same thing. He comes out of the TV and kills her, just like Art did in the first one. Quality-wise, I gave this an 8 out of 10. This was better quality than the first one. The acting was a lot better. You gave it a 9.
Mm-hmm.
It was really well made.
Yeah.
It was a lot more well made than the first one. Actually, the only reason why I didn't give it higher is that the VHS things didn't look as much like VHSs as the other one. That was kind of the fun of the first one, is that it reminded me of VHS tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween feel? You didn't feel much Halloween at all in this. You gave it a 5.
Yeah.
I think it's because I liked the first segment so much. That gave me so much Halloween vibes with the jack-o'-lanterns and the pumpkins and they're in costumes and the dog's wearing a devil costume.
Yeah.
But other than the fact that the guy in the first segment is wearing a pumpkin mask, the Jack Attack one is about jack-o'-lanterns. The second one is the last Halloween one.
Yep.
And the Mr. Tricker's Treats or whatever. So 3 out of 8 segments had Halloween themes.
Yeah.
So really it wasn't. I gave it a 7, which, yeah, but you gave it a 5. Scare-wise, we both gave it 7s. Because it wasn't really as scary as, like, it didn't scare me, but it did creep me out a few times. Like, there was creepy stuff. the last Halloween segment, like, the kids were really creepy. The elevator part was very anxiety-inducing. Like, it's more creepy than scary, right?
Yep.
So our totals is I have given it a 7.3, and you gave it a 7. And that averages out to 7.1. So we like this slightly less, just slightly less than the original.
Yep.
Which is so funny, because I thought it was going to be more.
I thought so too, to be honest with you.
But the quality didn't make up for the lack of scares and the lack of Halloween. And now the dog's taking off with a tripod. We fix? Close enough. Got it. So yeah, that's all we have to say about that one. And we will see you tomorrow when we'll be watching... I have no idea. I cannot remember. We're gonna go now. Bye.